It took a little work to convince Paul that Poseidon had left via the fire escape, but since people can't vanish into thin air, he had no choice but to believe it. We ate blue cake and ice cream until we couldn't eat anymore. Then we played a bunch of cheesy party games like charades and Monopoly. Tyson didn't get charades. He kept shouting out the answers he was trying to mime, but it turned out that he was really good at Monopoly. He knocked me out of the game in the first 5 rounds and started bankrupting my mom and Paul. I left them playing and went into my bedroom. I set an uneaten slice of blue cake on my dresser. Then I took off my Camp Half-Blood necklace and laid it on the windowsill. There were 3 beads now, representing my 3 summers at camp. A trident, the golden fleece, and the latest, an intricate maze symbolizing the Battle of the Labyrinth, as the campers had started to call it. I wondered what next year's bead would be, if I was still around to get it, if the camp survived until next summer. I looked at the telephone by my bedside. I thought about calling Rachel Elizabeth Dare. My mom had asked me if there was anyone else I wanted to have over tonight, and I thought about Rachel, but I didn't call. I don't know why. The idea made me almost as nervous as the door into the labyrinth. I patted my pockets and emptied out all my stuff. Riptide, a Kleenex, my apartment key. Then I patted my shirt pocket and felt a small lump. I hadn't even realized it, but I was wearing a white cotton shirt that Calypso had given me in Oyiga. I brought out a little piece of cloth, unwrapped it, and found the clipping of moon lace. It was a tiny sprig, shriveled up after 2 months, but I could still see the faint and smell the faint scent of the enchanted garden. It made me sad. I remembered Calypso's last request of me. Plant a garden in Manhattan for me, will you? I opened the window and stepped onto the fire escape. My mom kept a planter box out there. In the spring she usually filled it with flowers, but now it was all dirt, waiting for something new. It was a clear night. The moon was full over 82nd Street. I planted the dried sprig of moonlace carefully in the dirt and sprinkled a little nectar on it from my camp canteen. Nothing happened at first. Then, as I watched, a tiny silver plant sprang out of the soil. A baby moonlace, glowing in the warm summer night. Nice plant. I jumped. Nico D'Angelo was standing on the fire escape right next to me. He'd just appeared there. Sorry, he said. Didn't mean to startle you. That's okay. I mean, what are you doing here? He'd grown about an inch taller over the last couple months. His hair was a shaggy black mess. He wore a black t-shirt, black jeans, and a new silver ring shaped like a skull. His digging iron sword hung at his side. I have done some exploring, he said. Thought you'd like to know. Daedalus got his punishment. You saw him? Nico nodded. Minos wanted to boil him in cheese fondue for eternity, but my father had other ideas. Daedalus will be building overpasses and exit ramps in the fossil fields for all time. It'll help ease the traffic congestions. Truthfully, I think the old guy's pretty happy with that. He's still building, still creating, and he gets to see his son and Perdix on the weekends. That's good. Nico tapped at his silver ring. But that's not the real reason I've come. I found out some things. I want to make you an offer. What? The way to beat Luke, he said. If I'm right, it's the only way you'll stand a chance. I took a deep breath. Okay, I'm listening. Nico glanced inside my room. His eyebrows furrowed. Is that blue birthday cake? He sounded hungry, maybe a little wistful. I wondered if the poor kid ever had a birthday party, or if he'd ever been invited to one. Come on inside for cake and ice cream, I said. It sounds like we got a lot to talk about. The end of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Battle of the Labyrinth, Book 4. Stay tuned for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Book 5, which will be coming up next. Thank you. And the last book is going to be called The Last Olympian. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for more.